Hey everyone, it's Alan over at Cobblers Plus in Denver, and thank you for joining us for our Soul Talk Sunday. Today we've got a little bit of a spread of a few Vibrams, so come check out and see what we have today for you. I'm Alan Tershkov. Join us today and enter our world of a cobbler to see the craftsmanship it takes to rebuild and restore footwear and other leather goods, as well as recommendations from our industry. Thank you for joining us for our Soul Talk Sunday today. This one, I don't know why I've been holding off on it for so long. I was actually supposed to get it all taken care of last Sunday, unfortunately. I'm hoping I have enough time this Sunday. It's been kind of hectic here. We're actually in the process of moving, so I do apologize. We're about to be moving over to the next unit down, so, hey, if you're going to come visit us, come check out the new place. We'll probably be up here and running in a few weeks, I believe so. But I'm the one running back and forth between landlords, contractors, and leasing and all that kind of junk. It's exhausting while doing repair work and everything. But anyways, back to the topic here. For our Soul Talk Sunday today, we've got Vibrams that are all solid rubbers that have a heel on them. So I'm talking a 90-degree angle, so that means that they're just straight cut like this. And some of them look fairly familiar because a lot of companies actually use a few of these models too, as well as cobblers. These styles have been around for a very long time. So we'll start out with one of the more, I guess you can say, well-known Vibram Soles, and it's been around for quite some time, and it would be this 132 Vibram Sole, and I just spaced out on the name on it. Sorry, it's the most popular one, and I just forgot the name. I apologize. Gotta make sure I get it right so you guys know. Oh, it is right. Montagna. I think I'm pronouncing it right. But this sole, it's been around for quite some time, again, because they use them on a lot of construction work boots that a lot of people know as the waffle print because of these little lug patterns. They're actually called lugs, and they have a tendency to grip very well in a full 360-degree angle. In other words, these little particular tread patterns. So it's perfect for construction work because, especially on the back of the heel, there are holes here to be able to run nails in. So if you have a pair of work boots that have, midsoles on it that are very thick or something, or if you're somebody in a really rough environment, you can run some strong nails in there. Some people actually also, if they're really rough on their toes, they actually run little screws right here in between that tread pattern right at the toe area, sometimes further up, so just depends on the build, of course, and that really helps it too. Of course, most heels have a hollowed out area here to reduce some of that weight, but it's got a very wide wall here, so they're going to hold up very, very well. Even the depth of this is not very deep, actually. Along with that, of course, too, you've got these little nubs here and then the center bar. That's all going to help with the reinforcement of the overall structure of the heel. As far as the thickness goes, the back of the heel is 27 millimeters and the front area is 10.1 millimeters there. So definitely an awesome sole for construction work. I'll talk about another subject a little later once we get through all of these, about how well it does in slush, mud, and all that. Well, I guess I'll mention it now. It does all right in slush and mud. It's not the best. It does all right. It just unfortunately picks it up very well. If you're in a muddy area, these things get clogged up with mud. They get trapped in there, and there's no easy way for them to escape. These particular channels, the way they're designed, they're not going to allow it to escape very easily. Sorry about the interruptions. But yeah, there's no real way for the mud and everything to escape out of here. It works great for construction work, so if you're doing roofing, if you're working indoors or any of that, grips beautifully. Dry dirt, a little bit of muddy conditions, but once you start getting into that mud and the slush, it has a tendency to get stuck in there. One other thing I did forget to mention also is the way the pattern overall is designed. The back of the heel here, you can see that the channels here are much deeper. That's for your traction, but right here at the back where your heel impacts first, it's thicker, significantly thicker just for the durability. And in the toe area, the tread pattern is much closer for extra surface area and durability like that, so that you don't wear out the toe and heel so quickly. So the next one that we're gonna talk about, it's pretty much identical to the original one here, just a few minor differences here and there. It's the same style name, Montagna, but it's the block style that they have also, and it's model number 1149, and it comes in a variety of colors. As you can see, you've got the tan there, orange, red, green. I think there were a few other colors that we don't really stock, but they're from their Soul Factor line, so there are colors that they bring out, they discontinue, so you can't really keep up with them either. But same basic design. The only major differences, I guess you can say, that to start out is the width. I mean, the sizing, you can see that there's a pretty good size difference in length on these, but this one here ends up being the same width as the traditional 132s, and it's kind of a tougher one to fit on certain types of boots and shoes if they're kind of wider. That's one dilemma. The other thing is that the way that the reinforcement, well, the nails is one thing. The nails are differently positioned. I don't know if you really care about that or not, but one of the things are the reinforcement areas here are different. So on the toe area, this one's more heavily reinforced. On the newer version, the 1149, it's definitely thicker around there as far as the channels go. And then on the heel, it's kind of the opposite direction. It's a little bit of a deeper channeling there than the original ones. So minor differences. There is a thickness difference. This one was, I know I wrote it down on one of these. Okay, so the forefoot is 12.1 millimeters. The heel is 29.3. So difference wise, these ones are definitely a little bit thicker, about 2 millimeters thicker roughly on those. So that's one of the other key differences. So I thought I'd mention that. But same rules apply as far as the mud and slush. Materials are about the same. Durability, I would say, is definitely about the same on them, but all these shoes are kind of or soles are in the same category as far as durability. Now, the other one that we're going to move on to looks the same at first glance, of course, as these other ones that we talked about, but it is in fact quite a bit different. If I could pull it up here. So this is the model 1136, and the name on it is Roccia Block, because there's another Roccia version out there as well. That's the softer material. So this is the Roccia Block 1136, and tread pattern's very similar, but there's a huge difference in it. It's closer to this style here, but in the opposite direction. This one's significantly thinner. This one measures out to 8.1 at the ball of the foot to 22.4 at the heel. So it's even thinner than the original Vibram 132. So, but I would definitely say it's a bit closer to the 132 style here, as far as the overall tread pattern and everything. This one doesn't have as many reinforcements all around. It actually, it's the same thickness. I remember now. It's the same thickness all around as far as the tread pattern. There's not an area where it's reinforced and it's a little heftier and thicker, but definitely a good sole for something a little more dressy, more casual. It'll work as a low profile sole actually on some of the work boots and outdoor boots too as well. So definitely a good pick if you're wanting that kind of tread pattern, that kind of style, but you don't want to go so hefty from the side view. I mean, from the side, it's definitely an improvement. I apologize for the interruptions. It's one of those days again, but between these three anyways, they're very similar. I mean, as far as the traction goes, the durability, you're definitely going to get more out of these two because they're thicker, and then this one's your thinner one. That's kind of logical sense, but pound for pound, they're going to wear the same and everything. As far as getting gunked up with mud or dirt, these two, because they're thicker and the tread pattern's much deeper, there's a higher chance and probability that you're going to have the mud and gunk and everything get stuck inside there. So just have a brush by the side of your door or something if you do have this sole. It's an awesome sole, definitely, even for outdoor use. But if you get into that mucky situation, just so you don't track mud or dirt, have a brush on the side. This one, however, because it's a much shallower tread pattern and they're actually spaced a little further apart because they're shallow, you shouldn't have too much of an issue. Keep an eye on it anyways, but you never know, it can happen. So alright, so now moving on to our next sole. And this is one of my personal favorites. It's the Vibram, I don't know why I just spaced out on the name, the Olympia, the 1275 Olympia. And the reason why I like this one so much is the particular tread pattern, the design of it. You know, some people don't consider what the designs are featuring, what they're used for. And as you can tell, the particular tread pattern here is very different than your lug pattern. You know, it looks a little all over the place, but the reason why it's like that is because this one's designed to actually squeeze out any of the mud and slush through the side channels here. It's you know, designed for that kind of feature, just does a better job of it. I mean, with this one, you can use it in the construction work industry, but the particular pattern, it might not work for some, especially if you're around a lot of dust from sawing, you know, different woods and planks. You know, if you're around that kind of environment, this one might not grip as well as your lug pattern like this, because it doesn't have quite a 360-degree grip or anything like that. But this one is designed more for an outdoor use purpose, so it grips very well forward and back and does a fair amount side to side, where this one does good grip either direction. But you got to also consider that when you're walking on the streets or something in a slushy day, or if you're outside up in the mountains and you're in mud and muck and everything, it's nice because it squeezes everything out, and you tend to be walking straight a little bit more too, and that's a very nice feature to have. Reinforcement wise, the material is a little denser here in the back of the heel, of course, for, you know, greater wear distribution, and the toe is significantly more reinforced on that too. Thickness wise, this one is 11.2 at the ball of the foot, and then 28 at the heel, so a little bit thicker than your traditional one of these, but still a little bit thinner than the newer versions from their Sole Factor line. So kind of a great in between. I did forget to mention one other thing, is the hollowing out of these, but we'll talk about that, or we'll come back to that right now then. I apologize for completely spacing out about that. So coming back to this one here, that 1149 from the Sole Factor, this one's a little bit different here in the heel area. The walls are very thick, as you can tell, but the center is much more hollowed out, making it more of a lighter weight. That's why with all these colors, it kind of works better for, you know, maybe like a fashion forward shoe or something. Does pretty well with you know, the impact as well, but not quite as strong as the original traditional 132s. So just wanted to point that out, where this one here, it's because it's thinner material and everything, it's a little bit wider of a wall here, but the inside area has, you know, extra bar there. I mean, when you're wearing it, you're not going to be able to really tell much difference. They do have to hollow out the heel to a certain extent, so it reduces the weight on these. So definitely want to mention that. It's for anyone that may be concerned, oh, it's a hollow sole. No, hollow sole would actually be hollowed out in the ball of the foot area. That's a true hollow sole. A hollowed out heel, that's I mean, if it's a solid rubber sole, probably 99% of the market is like that. 99% of soles are like that, and you don't want it to be solid completely, because it's going to make this pretty heavy sole there. And by the time you really actually wear through these heels on there and get to that hauled out area, you're probably going to be worn through the middle of the foot as well at that point too. So I wanted to mention that. And this one here, like that, I guess you can almost say that it goes into a hollow category, hauled out sole category, but not quite. The reason why not quite is these particular hauled out sections are designed for better bendability. With a solid one, it's a little bit stiffer. If you go pound for pound, it's definitely stiffer. But because this one is designed more for your hiking aspects and everything, it's hollowed out just enough. It looks like maybe just under a millimeter that it's hollowed out in the ball of the foot, which is like nothing. I mean, you're not going to be able to wear it out that far in a short period of time. It's just impossible. This rubber is too hard. So they hollow it out just enough so that it gives you that flexibility right there in that foot, and they just go across the whole area as well, because different walking patterns flex different. They just kept it the same across the board. As far as weight, yes, it might take down a little bit of weight, but what, quarter of an ounce per foot, if even that. I mean, if even that. As far as this hollowing out, the heel is the more important thing, and they hollowed this one out as well with a very wide wall structure here. So sorry for all the interruptions. It's one of those days. But anyways, did I mention the thickness? Yeah, 11.2 and 28 on that one. But anyways, moving on to the next sole, and this one's kind of a newer one. Not too many people are familiar with it. Not too many places even carry it. I had to even have one of our suppliers order these colors for me. But this is the Trento 2070, and this is an awesome sole. I mean, overall, I've used this one a few times in the black on a couple of shoes already. I mean, this, I would say, is kind of almost like almost an in-between version of a dressier boot and something that can work with construction and outdoors type of thing. I mean, it's a hefty looking sole when you look at it. It's got all these large nubs everywhere. And I mean, they're large, you can tell for sure. They squeeze out mud and slush very well. It's not a very deep construction of tread pattern. The channels aren't very deep, but they're deep enough to grip very well. From the side view, however, when you got that on a pair of shoes, it doesn't look, it doesn't look like a monstrosity. In other words, like if you take a pair of nice dress shoes and you put this one on here onto a nice pair of shoes, that just right there from the side view, that just looks hefty, bulky and everything. But this one, even though this one looks more hefty from the bottom view, from the side view, it actually looks pretty nice. And like I said, I've put it on a handful of dress shoes already, and they turned out great looking. I mean, from the side view, that's our bigger concern when it comes to dress footwear. Most people are concerned always about the appearance from the side. Is it still going to look dressy with that bulky sole, or is it going to look like it's supposed to be at a construction site? No, with that one, it looks great as just a regular dress boot. And I mean, it's definitely nice. It's got the reinforcement here in the back of the heel and the toe. It's just solid, basically. As far as the construction goes, I mean, this sole here is constructed to be completely solid. The heel is also hollowed out, but the way they hollowed these heels out, because they are intended for more of like a kind of all around use purpose, the way they hollow it out is actually at an angle. So this side right here is outward slightly. So it gives you a nice cushioned impact when you're walking, but yet is still extremely durable and strong so that heel block won't collapse or anything. Overall, it's definitely an awesome sole. Thickness wise, this one is 12.6 at the ball of the foot and 24.6 at the heel. I mean, comparing it to say this one here, it's definitely a little bit thinner at the heel. That allows for more of that flatter dress style build as well. I mean, it works great on construction work boots, outdoor boots and shoes as well, but the way it's constructed, the heel is definitely lower in proportion to what the sole is. I mean, this one, the heel is 28 and the and the forefoot area is 11.2, where the forefoot is actually thicker than this one at 12.6, but the heel is 24.6. So, and this heel here is 28. So it's a bit of a difference there. So construction wise, it's kind of in the opposite direction. The heel actually shortens down significantly, where some of them you go up on the ball of the foot, the heel goes up higher, and the ball of the foot goes down in thickness, the heel goes down in thickness. So proportionally, this one's definitely a little bit of a different construction and build, but overall, definitely an awesome sole too. And this one's from the new Sole Factor line. Currently, they have just these 3 colors here available. This one's kind of like a purplish color, and I can never remember what they're called. And then they've got this one, I think it was like sand or nude on that one. And then black. Black, of course, is the one that we've been using. And these 2 I just got in like a couple of weeks ago. I had to get my supplier to make sure to order at the very least 1 pair of each. You know, I think I got a couple. Yeah, I got a couple pairs of each. So, kind of tempted to put purple. I always hated purple for the longest time. I don't know why. On dress shoes, purple was like a big no for me. Some of these guys really changed my mind. You know, on the Wax and Dyed group on Facebook, yeah, they did some very beautiful looking shoes with purple, and I'm all about purple now. Royal color, right? As far as you know, traction goes, they're all going to grip very well, very well. They're kind of going to grip in their own categories very well. This one's definitely, these 2 here are definitely going to grip a lot better in that construction work environment, where sometimes you need to pivot if you're on a hardwood floor or something and there's a bunch of dust all over it from construction work going on around you. So this one will grip it better at a 360, where the other way around, this one's going to grip significantly better to the forward and back motion. Very well side to side, but not quite as well as this one. You know, this one, because the tread pattern isn't as deep, won't grip as well. And then this one's kind of like almost in between all of them when it comes to grip, just because there are larger pads, there aren't particular tread patterns for a 360 motion. So it's kind of that in between where it's going to be a little bit of all the worlds, in other words, put together for sure. My personal favorites, I guess I would say in order, definitely I love the Olympia. This one came out now. I love this one. I mean, for Colorado and outdoor use, basically, I'm all about this one here for sure. When it comes down to more of city work or anything like that, this one's beautiful. And then when it comes to needing something that's going to have a little bit more of a 360, because I don't really need something that heavy, I would have to give this one 3rd place, and that's the 1136 again, so you can tell the difference. And these other ones, I mean, I like them, I love them, but I'm not a construction worker. I don't do any of that kind of work, so I don't really need that kind of grip. I don't need that kind of heftiness or anything to my soles. So, but because I'm a little more outdoorsy, and plus we live in an area where there's dirt roads, at least where my house is, this is the sole I would go for me personally. For a pair of shoes that I would wear every day or to the city or just all around use, I would go for that sole, and that's my pick for that. And I would probably have to go second to this one, just because I love the view of the sole on this one a little bit more from the side. Plus, you got the color options. I want to use that purple on something. I don't know what, but I want to use it. And I love this color too. Really nice. Really is. I just don't give it enough praise, but purple's the one that catches my attention. But anyways, you know, that's just it for those soles. So just to recap the names, at least, because I know there's kind of a handful of names. There's 5 total style names and numbers. So these 2 here are both the Montagna. They are either just Montagna or the Montagna Block, but the particular model number, the original one was 132. That's the original one, only comes in black, and the newer versions are the 1149, which come from the Sole Factor line. That's where they have the narrower fit and the larger color options and everything. So just to give you the key point differences between the names, at least. The other one is this one here, the Roccia Block. Remember, that's the solid rubber one in the block style, and it's the 1136 is the number on that one. And then my top pick, the 1275 Olympia. And I don't know why I keep forgetting the name of this one, the Trento 2070. So just to recap the names on those for you. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, or you can stop by in person and check them out if you'd like. If you're not local, find your local cobbler shop, or you can always give us a call. If you go to our website, cobblersplus.com, you can send us an email through there, or our contact information is on there too. So if you have more detailed questions, send us a message. We'll be happy to help and respond however we can. Otherwise, if it's a short, quick question or something, you can always leave in the comments section down below, and I tend to get back to all of them at the very least. If you comment something nice and it's not a question, I'll like the comment. Unless you're going to be rude somehow, then I'm not going to like it. No, I'm not. And if you're going to be really rude, I'm going to have to delete the comment. I'm sorry. But, you know, if you enjoyed the video on our Soul Talk Sunday, please don't forget to hit that like, thumbs up button, or like, whichever one it is. I think they're both. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell icon for our next Soul Talk Sunday episode. Again, I ended up having to skip last Sunday, and I don't know how well it's going to turn out for this upcoming Sunday. If I'm going to have these up in time, it may end up having to be the following Sunday, unfortunately, with everything going on and how long it takes to edit videos and compress them. It's going to take a little more effort, so bear with me. Hopefully, once we're moved over, things will get back into a better flow of things, and you know, hopefully we'll get it going. Again, we'll see you all next time then.